My name is Sarah. I am 25 years old. I live in a small quiet town called Maplewood. Everyone knows everyone here. One bakery, one grocery store, one small park. People wave at each other on the street. Nothing big ever happens in Maplewood. I loved feeling safe there. I thought nothing could surprise me. I was so wrong. I lived in a small apartment on Green Street. Nothing fancy. 2 rooms, 1 bathroom, a tiny kitchen. But I loved it for one reason. For big windows facing the morning sun. Every day, warm golden light poured through first thing. I woke up early just to stand in that light with my coffee. Eyes closed. Feeling the warmth on my face. Those mornings made me feel like life was perfect and good. For a long time it really was. I worked at a small office 10 minutes from home. My boss, Mrs. Carter, was kind and never shouted. My coworkers were friendly. I did not earn much, but had enough for a comfortable life. That was all I needed. For 3 years I shared that apartment with my boyfriend Jake. He was 27 with messy brown hair and a big wide smile. He worked at a car repair shop across town. He was honest and kind. But what I loved most was his terrible jokes. Really awful jokes. But he told them with such a happy face that you always laughed anyway. Every evening, he kissed my cheek and told me a bad joke first thing. I never told him how much I loved that small routine. We cooked dinner together in our tiny kitchen every evening. We bumped into each other and laughed. After dinner, we watched old movies or talked about the future. About a road trip we always planned but never took. Those evenings were the best part of every day. My best friend in the whole world was a girl named Amy. We had been friends since we were 15. We met in high school sitting next to each other in English class, both hating the same boring book. We whispered complaints the whole lesson. 10 years later, she was still the most important person in my life besides Jake. Amy was loud and bright and full of energy. She talked fast and laughed easily. When something was wrong, Amy showed up at your door without being asked. She came to our apartment 2 or 3 times every week. Within minutes, the 3 of us were always laughing about something. I used to feel completely full in those evenings. A warm home, a loving boyfriend, a best friend who felt like family. I trusted both of them with everything I had. That was my biggest mistake. The first sign was so small I almost missed it. One Tuesday evening, Jake came home at 7:15. He was always home by 6. He looked tired. I asked what happened. He said the shop was busy. He smiled. A normal, easy smile. I believed him. But it happened again 3 days later. Then again the week after. Soon Jake was late almost every evening. Always a simple explanation. I kept dinner warm and told myself work gets busy. Then I noticed the phone. Jake had never cared about his phone before. He left it on the counter for hours. But suddenly it was always in his hand. He read messages at dinner with a private little smile I did not recognize. One evening I watched him typing, and that same strange smile appeared. I asked who he was talking to. He said just the guys from work. Nothing important. He turned the screen slightly away from me. Such a small movement. But I saw it, and something in my chest went cold. A low, uncomfortable feeling started growing inside me. Like a door left open that should be closed. I pushed it down and told myself I was being paranoid. Jake was a good, honest man. I talked to Amy about it that Thursday. We sat at my kitchen table with tea. I told her everything. The late evenings. The phone. The quiet distance growing between Jake and me. Amy listened. Then she held my hand across the table. She told me not to worry. Men go quiet when they feel stressed, she said. Jake loves you. Stop making problems in your head. I believed her completely. If Amy said everything was fine, then it had to be fine. But something strange started happening when Amy visited. When it was just Jake and me, he was quiet and distant. Short answers. Eyes always on his phone. But the moment Amy walked through the door, he completely changed. He smiled bigger. He laughed easily. He leaned forward when she talked and listened with his whole face in a way he had stopped doing with me. I told myself Amy just had a big personality. Everyone lit up around her. Nothing strange. But I started feeling invisible in my own home. One evening, all three of us sat in the living room. Amy told a funny story and Jake laughed hard. The big full laugh I had not heard in weeks. I said something. Neither of them heard me. I said it again louder. Jake glanced at me quickly and turned right back to Amy. I walked to the kitchen and stood at the counter staring at the wall. Through the door I heard them laughing together. The sound felt very far away, even though they were right on the other side. I pressed my hands flat on the counter and breathed slowly. But the feeling in my chest kept growing bigger every single day. Then came the Saturday morning that changed everything. I was doing laundry. Just a normal chore. I picked up a gray shirt Jake wore on Thursday. I was about to drop it in the machine when I stopped. A smell reached me. I brought the shirt to my face and breathed in carefully. Sweet. Warm. Floral. Like flowers mixed with something soft and clean. My heart beat faster. I knew that smell. 2 weeks before, Amy came over wearing a new perfume. She held out her wrist and said, I just bought this. Do you like it? I told her it was lovely. Sweet and floral and warm. Exactly like what I was smelling now on Jake's shirt. I put the shirt down and stood completely still. My mind moved fast through explanations. Amy always hugged Jake when she arrived and left. A hug can transfer perfume to fabric. Simple. Innocent. Normal between friends. I picked the shirt back up, dropped it in the machine, and pressed start. The machine started running. But my mind did not stop. That smell stayed with me all day and all night. I said nothing to Jake. I smiled at dinner, said good night, but I lay awake in the dark staring at the ceiling. Something was wrong. I could feel it in my bones, but I was still too afraid to believe it. I decided to plan a surprise trip for just the two of us. I found a small hotel near a lake 2 hours from Maplewood. Pine trees. Still blue water. I booked 2 nights. When I told Jake, something genuine came into his eyes. He said, that sounds really nice, Sarah. He sounded like the old Jake. The one from before all the silence. I packed our bag. I bought a new blue sweater to wear by the lake. Friday came. Jake said he would leave work at 3 and come straight home. We would leave by 4. The bag was ready at the door by noon. I sat by the big windows watching the light. 3 o'clock came. Then 4. Then 5. My phone rang at 20 past 5. Jake's name lit up on the screen. Before I even answered, something deep inside me already knew. Some quiet part of me had known for a long time and had simply been too afraid to listen. His voice was careful and soft. Emergency at the shop. He could not leave tonight. We could rebook next weekend. He was so sorry. I said okay. Just that one small word. Then I ended the call. I put the phone down. I looked at the bag by the door. I looked at the blue sweater on the chair. The apartment was completely silent. The golden light came through the windows, but it felt cold and empty now. I sat down on the floor in the middle of the room and I cried. I cried until my chest ached and my eyes burned. When the tears stopped, I stared at the ceiling and made a decision. I needed distance. I needed somewhere honest. My parents lived in Cedarville 1 hour away. I packed a small bag and texted my mom. I need to come visit for a few days. She replied in 2 minutes. Of course, baby. Come anytime. The next morning I woke before sunrise. Jake was still sleeping. I picked up my bag and walked quietly to the front door. Then I remembered. My mom's birthday was next week. I had bought her a small silver photo frame and left it on the living room shelf. I went back inside quietly. The apartment was dark and completely still. Then I heard something that stopped me cold. Music. Low and slow and soft. Coming from the living room. Romantic music. The slow, gentle kind. Jake never played music in the morning. Not one single time in 3 years. My heart was hammering now. I walked toward the living room. Each step felt heavy, like my feet were made of stone. My hands were shaking. The music grew louder. I reached the doorway and made myself look inside. 2 people were sitting on my sofa, very close together, eyes closed, kissing slowly and quietly like the world around them did not exist. It was Jake, and it was Amy. I could not move. I could not breathe. Everything inside me went cold and silent. The music kept playing softly. My boyfriend and my best friend were kissing on my sofa in my home. Then Jake opened his eyes and saw me. His face went white instantly. He jumped up and said my name in a broken voice. Sarah. Amy opened her eyes. She covered her mouth with both hands. Tears came immediately. She started saying sorry over and over. I am so sorry, Sarah. I am so sorry. The word sorry meant nothing, just an empty sound. I looked at both of them. I felt very calm. Not the good kind. The kind that comes when something inside you breaks completely and goes quiet forever. Amy, I said quietly, go home. She cried harder. She said she never meant to hurt me. She loved me like a sister. Go home, I said again. Still calm. Still quiet. She grabbed her bag and walked out crying. The door closed behind her. Jake talked fast. He said it was a mistake. It meant nothing. He loved me. Please forgive him. But his words sounded like noise from far away. I walked past him and picked up the silver photo frame from the shelf. I held it to my chest. Then I picked up my bag from the hallway floor. On the small table near the front door was a little dish where we kept our keys. I took my apartment key from my pocket and placed it in the dish. That small key had opened my home every day for 2 years. Putting it down felt like closing a door inside my heart forever. Goodbye, Jake, I said quietly. He called my name. I walked out and did not look back. I drove to Cedarville with the windows open. Cool morning air hit my face and helped me breathe. When I arrived, my mom opened the door before I knocked. She saw my face and said nothing. She just held me. My dad made coffee and sat beside me with his hand on my shoulder. Quiet love. That was the only thing that could help me right then. I stayed 2 weeks. Some days I cried all day. Some days I felt angry. Some days completely empty. But every morning I woke up just a little stronger than the morning before. Something small and new was growing slowly underneath all the pain. When I came back to Maplewood, I did not return to Green Street. I found a new small apartment on the east side of town. 1 room. A tiny kitchen. A regular window facing a brick wall. No 4 big beautiful windows. No golden morning light. But no lies. No secrets hiding in corners. Just me and my honest new beginning. The first weeks were hard. Almost no furniture. Simple meals alone at a folding table. Long quiet evenings. But I kept going. One day at a time. One afternoon I passed a community center and saw a handwritten sign on the door. Beginner painting class. Every Wednesday. All welcome. No experience needed. I had never painted anything in my life. But those words pulled me inside. The room was warm and bright. A kind woman handed me a brush, some colors, and a clean white page. Just start, she said gently. Don't think. Just start. So I did. When I dipped the brush into the paint, my hand was shaking a little. I didn't know what I was doing. The colors looked messy. The lines were not good. But I kept going. At first, I just painted anything. A little blue, a little yellow. It was not perfect. But slowly, I started to feel calm. My mind became quiet. I started going to the class every Wednesday. Same place, same people, same kind teacher. Every time I painted, I felt a little better. One day, I painted a window. It was simple, not perfect, but it was open, and soft golden light was coming through it. I looked at it for a long time. Then I understood something. I don't need those big, beautiful windows from before. I don't need my past to feel happy. I can create my own light inside me. And for the first time in a long time, I felt peaceful. I felt like I was finally home.